How's it going, everybody? It is Shady's on Broadway. I just woke up and wanted to give you guys a nice little live commentary game here for the. I don't know why I always wear my headset. Um, we're gonna give you guys a live commentary colonist auto rank game. So as always, if you guys like these kind of like more unedited VODs, let me know. These are really easy to push out for you guys, and I know some people find them quite entertaining. But yeah, so looking to do more content in the future. I am kind of like, as far as my main games, it's always been Dice Throne and Catan for me. So I'm also looking to work on some Dice Throne content on the side. But primarily, this channel will be tabletop related gaming content. I might branch off a little bit into the mobile gaming or video gaming space just to cover like a few things here and there. But expect much more frequent uploads now that I finally have a editor that I really enjoy. Work really well with him, and things are going to be starting to move at like at a pace that I think is good. So you guys should be getting like one really well constructed edited video a week, or something along those lines. Then maybe a video or two in between that for simple games like these, kind of things that I can work on myself, that don't require too much editing to be done. But again, as always, if you guys like this, do let me know. So we see a strong placement made for the 659 here in red. I don't agree with pointing the road down. 910 is a very good spot to expand to, and I don't really see anybody placing it outright. But we are going to be seeing orange placing the next settlement spot. We aren't really looking to climb too high, given that the fact that there's only a couple weeks left in the current colonist season. But if this is something you guys want to see, I know other creators have made road to top 100 or road to top 10, whatever kind of videos. That is definitely something that we can look forward to working on in the future. So, like I said, let me know. But yeah, so we got Fellow here in orange, trying to decide where to place in second. One thing that immediately pops to mind is the coordinated eights, right? So you see the 8 wood and the 8 brick. So that's kind of like something that stands out to me. Another thing that kind of stands out is like the wheat. It's not rare, but I kind of dig the 8-5-10 spot. And the reason I say this is what I see fourth realistically doing is some combination of the 8 brick, and probably the 6-3-11 or 6-11-12. So the other reason that I'm really satisfied with this pick is that the brick is actually pretty on par with the wood in terms of value. But 8-5-10 allows us to also expand toward 2 possible 3-to-1 ports. So even if we lose this one, it's not that big of a deal. Now, some people might prefer to play a more or wheat sheep approach to this board. As you continue to watch me make Catan content, you'll come to find to terms that I don't like playing development cards if I don't have to. It's a strong recognized strategy, but it's not my preferred play style, and I find it to be too luck based. So generally speaking, I like playing third and fourth position more than second and first, and it allows me to construct the board a little bit to my liking per se. Now, the strength of 8-5-10, of course, being the fact that we produce our own wheat, we also have coordinated trades with the player orange here. All of the 8-5-10s, they don't get the resources that we do, and I do think that orange is going to be struggling a little bit to pick up wheat, so they're going to be our partner in that sense. Now, looking at what black probably does in fourth, again, I don't realistically see them leaving the 8-4-3 open for us, but if they do, great, but we have a lot of outs. We can take something like 6-9-2, 8-4-3, but I see them doubling this and this realistically, which is great because that allows us to lock up this side of the board. Now, traditionally, you could go with something like 9-4-11, which I don't think is bad by any definition. I could also opt to actually take 10-9-2, but that leaves 9-6 open for red, which we don't want to do because I could see them very realistically taking that. However, instead, what we are actually going to opt to do is take the 9-6-2. Now, what this allows, generally speaking, I think what happens here is orange is going to take 9-4-11. which is going to leave red with a pretty strong 8-4-3. So maybe they did predict the fact that this would be open. Now we are going to point the road right. Not that we really want the brick port per se, but it does give us the flexibility. Now, because the brick was selected, I have to retract my previous statement, where we might actually end up playing a little bit of a dev carb game here. And the reason I say that is we have a lot of strong sheep and wheat. Our ore is not the best, but it's still a good number. And then we have the wood here to expand to. So black says interesting choice. I actually don't think that this is the incorrect play. A lot of people might opt to take 9-4-11 and expand this way, but side by side here is a lot stronger. Because again, I think that orange, yeah, and actually orange opts to lock the middle to expand to the 9-4, which is interesting. They're going to have to see if they win that race. I'm not too sure if I want to contest it yet. But red now has 11-5-4 as well in the middle to contest. So that's actually a really high value 3 hex spot. So maybe I didn't really think that through. Red was probably playing chess while I was playing checkers. But yeah, ideally we don't want to push our luck too far because we don't make our own brick. So we roll a 12. Let's see if we can offload some cards here. I either want to get a wheat or I want to get a brick. Yep, I'll take it. And again, I don't want to push my luck because I think it's very likely that red beats us to this 8 wood. So I'm actually just going to drop it to the 5. And the whole concept is we just want flexibility at this point. We don't really want production, because when you play development cards or wheat sheep, production's not really a main concern. It's more so how can I effectively use my cards. So I don't want to race red here until I know that I have it in hand. So they're going to be talking about a trade here for the expansion spot. But again, like if I drop the road here, red is incentivized to plow the 8 wood spot. But what's great though is that I'm not contesting the port now. So red actually in chat recognizes that black and orange, or excuse me, orange is contesting 11-5-4 here for a road settle spot from them. And the reason that this is good is if they're fighting over and over, and we take the settlement here, I don't even need this settlement on the 8 because again, we're using it for the port. I mean, the ideal scenario is by settling on the 8 wood as opposed to the 5. When you city this, the wood becomes 3 wood, which is portable into any card. But it might open up the 9-4 desert expansion, which is actually really strong, doubling up on the ore there. So we are going to be seeing a counter offer thrown out. Not really something we want to snap on. Again, we don't have brick, but they're trying to coordinate a road settle trade here, which I don't think should happen. I think ideally best case scenario is they drop the road, and they probably get it before orange does. So it's not really a risk there. But again, that was kind of on orange to, let me see if I can get greedy and get a second card out of it. Oh, I get 2 brick. Yeah, we always snap 2 brick for 1 wheat. Even if that's a city for them, that is an incredibly high value trade for us. Now, of course, we do want to see if we can get a wood, which I don't know if that's available. It might not be. But I also don't mind, actually, yeah, I don't think there's any wood. I don't mind popping a dev here, though, because it kind of cleans out our hand really nicely. We get a VP, not the best, but that's fine. But the reason there that a city for the 2 brick is not bad is it pushes orange to kind of a bit of a higher pacing. Now, downside to it is we are going to get blocked a little bit more, but all we're waiting for is an 8 to settle here. And ideally, by pushing the city into orange's hands, again, they're going to be the target of the robs and steals. Now, it might be on the 9 and 10, but the 2 brick is incredible value for us, especially if we roll into 2 8s, because that'll allow us to secure the 9-4 spot, because the 5 is not being contested ever, generally speaking. Yeah, red gets a really strong settlement spot there. They're going to be looking at the 3-1 next. We're not really rolling any wood on this, which is kind of bad, because that leaves our hand stuck with 7. And I think we actually might have to pass, because there's no ore. I don't think there's any ore to... Yeah, I think we're actually stuck on 7 here. Yikes. I mean, I could try to do like a 4-1 to get the settlement, but that's expanding like a lot of resources that we don't have. Just have to hope that we roll better next orbit. Now, if I'm black here, I hit the 9 ore. I could also hit the 5 brick, which I don't think is bad either. But again, we just need to roll into 2 wood or get a trade for 2 wood. And I would prioritize the 9-4 as a road settlement spot for the production. And then, of course, the port next. Because that, again, it gives us a ton of options. And I don't see orange beating us here, provided we use our resources efficiently. Now, early game, of course, and this goes for most setups, but getting the road settlement on a port and then getting a road settlement on an expansion spot tends to be the first 2 priorities in a game, especially when we make our own or we cheap. But we see red with 9 cards. They're going to be contesting this 3-1, which again, we don't need to snipe, but it does make their position strong. Really, their only weakness is the fact they don't produce ore, but they have a lot of strong numbers. 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 9 is a really high producing setup. There's no wood on the table, which he'll find out because nobody's trading. But I'm not going to mention that. I'll let him decipher that on his own. Can't ask for a card that doesn't exist. But yeah, the wood rolls have not been very kind. And again, we don't want to be using this brick unnecessarily, but we also can't be 7ing out with a lot of cards. So they do drop the road there, which makes sense. We do roll into a sheep. And now we roll into the wheat. So I do have 4-1 settle. I'm probably going to end up taking it because I don't realistically see orange giving up their wood here. I mean, I can offer it, but it's probably going to be a 4-1 for a wood just to grab the settlement spot. And I don't think that's terrible. I mean, it's not great because, again, ideally we wanted to snap the 9-4, but we're not getting wood rolls, so we have to respond reactively to that. Red does 7 out, which is great. Hopefully what this means is that the robber goes, well, actually in black's position, if you're not hitting the 5, you probably hit the 9 or the 10. So there is a good chance we get robbed here, and losing that valued brick that we don't produce would really suck. But maybe they recognize orange with the city down as a bigger threat. I'm not too sure. But with the 5 opening up a 3-1 port for us, our flexibility is quite good. And actually, funnily enough, we might end up sitting the 9-2-6 as opposed to the 8-5-10. But he does recognize that wood is rare on the board and opts to hit the 8 wood, which I definitely agree with. Now I'm hoping, oh, he robs the brick from us. That is a really hard card. That is a really hard card because we have to trade for that. It either costs us 3 of our own cards or giving value and leverage to the opponent. So that really sucks. But it's okay. We're going to try to strike back from that. Yeah, pulling the early VP as well kind of blows. I'm not someone that likes pulling victory point cards in general, unless you're trying to close out a game. But again, that's full like luck dependent. It just leaves my hand completely inflexible. Now, there is a wood in black's hand, but I don't see them realistically trading it. We could try to trade into a brick, but I think our best play there is just to hold. Let the turns go by here. Now, brick is still being heavily produced, and it sucks, though, that the block here is on the 8, because now we don't produce the wood to offer those coordinated trades. But orange is picking up a lot of cards. I'm really hoping, though, as you can see, they drop the road here, that we can get to the 9-4 before they commit to the 9-10, because if they don't, and they're able to beat us to the 9-4, I think our game is going to be kind of uphill and a much bigger challenge. But we're unfortunately not catching a lot of cards in these rolls here. Now, we do have a road settlement spot for the brick port. Like I said, this would just be used to get a point. In an ideal scenario as well, we could pull a monopoly and use it on brick as the bricks roll. But man, we're getting grilled here by red, who's able to build a city with the 4. I mean, it's not, you know, again, it's a good ore number, and they produce all 5 resources. They're going to get the 3-1. It just becomes a really challenging game to beat them. But I guess their main weakness here is not having a win condition, but they have road settle here, so it's kind of a tough spot because build to 10 for them is pretty easy. And I don't see the table realistically feeding me this spot, even though I think that's what would happen in like a high-level coordinated game because my position is objectively a lot weaker. So he offers a 2-1 that I'm going to snap. Now this might be giving up the settlement, but again, we need to get value where we can, and sheep for a brick and a wheat is good here. So, yeah. We see some wood come out. I'm going to try to trade into the wood, but nobody opts to snap on that. Okay, we're going to hold. This is really tough. Thankfully, Black is the one that rolls to 7, which means they're going to dump cards from red and black, and black should be hitting the 5 brick here, I think, because it targets the 2 leading point players, which the main benefit of that, again, is it leaves R5 open, so that we're the only producers on the 5. So that's pretty good there. But I am concerned now that there is a high chance that orange can snap this 9-4 before us, unless we get another brick, and we happen to get into 2 wood. So it's a bit of a hard push there. But we do roll into the 5, which is nice. We pick up the 2 wheat, nobody else gets anything. 7 is rolled, and unfortunately I think it goes back to the 8, targeting red there. But they could also hit 6. Oh, they actually hit the 4. So I like the 4 because it's an ore number that is now unlocked by black, which, I mean, predominantly here, red is not going to be playing road. They do make a lot of wood brick, but they don't really have the space for it. So generally speaking, ooh, okay, hold on. Let me finish my train of thought, but I really need to push this trade across. For the road settle with the 3-1 is what I'm referring to. It's okay if we don't necessarily have it. Yep. Yep. I don't like making deals with the player that I would consider leading. But yeah. Again, the 9-4 is better for my game, but the 8 is better for the entire table. But we had the 3-1 there to port into the settlement. So the table should have done the trade with me because plowing red is more important. But we're going to have to just try to balance red in other ways, right? Because, sorry about that. I just tapped out of the screen. We're going to have to try to balance red in other ways. Because now they're going to get the port. They're going to get the port down. They're going to have an open road settle on the 4. It's going to be really challenging to contest them because of the amount of production they make. So, I mean, I recognize them as the biggest threat on the board, but yeah. And again, the 8 really doesn't do much because it's going to be a ping pong target and it's a dead card because we don't make brick. So I find that to be okay. And the city spot for us is always going to be 6-9-2. Orange now produces a ton of cards off the 10 with the wood port as well, making it very flexible for them. 2 wood with the bank for literally whatever they need. They probably use it to pop. Well, and what's interesting is that nobody has this, I guess, setup for road per se. But somebody can definitely take it. Because again, you make a lot of wood brick here, you make a lot of wood brick here. If we pull road builder or monopoly, there's a strong chance that we can actually sneak the road around. But ideally, we want to be getting army and we want to be getting a city. So we've secured our main objectives as an wheat sheep player, which is getting a port and getting an expansion spot. So now we need to look at card management because we're behind on production. How do we save up for a city? And if we can't do that, how do we efficiently close out the game with development cards to progressively, or to stop the opponents from progressing is, I guess, what I should say. So we see the roads expanded here by orange, which is nice because it kind of subtly puts them close to 6 points, but they're also opening up a settlement spot there. But we're over-rolling on these 10s, which it's really challenging because if we see this many 10s come out, orange is in a really strong position. Yeah, red asks an interesting question. I think black is kind of dead this game just due to the lack of production. And what's challenging here is that orange, I believe, has city in hand, which they're going to be steamrolling with roads here. I'm just going to drop that in comments. Yeah, we're not trading here. We have 2 devs. Ideally, again, we want to get a city first, but we have to take the devs if we have to. And they produce their own ore and wheat, which is the same as us, right? So, and they also make it like coordinated or devs on a 9 roll. Ooh, and the 11 hits. I mean, again, their main weakness is they have wood port and they're about to get ore port. They don't have 3-1, but with the amount of production they make and the diversity of resources, they're going to get settled here. They can take road. I would consider their position effectively on like 7 to 8 points right now, which is hard because if nobody has a knight played, we can't even compete for army side. But yeah, they're going to get city here, I'm pretty sure, on 8-5-10, which again opens up their game tremendously. Yep, double point, and they build 1 road. So that's effectively 9 points because you build a road for longest road and you have an open settlement spot. Okay, so we roll into a city. We're going to have to take that. Now it sucks because we probably get slammed, but yeah, we're going to have to take it. I should have also offered to do this trade first, but here we are. Okay, that's fine. Effectively on 9 points. Open settle. Blocking 5 instead of 9. I mean, technically you could say that. I'm going to try to push this instead. I can't do wood for sheep. Or at least not 2. I can do that. Somebody has to challenge road, though, is the main problem. Someone would have to challenge road. This is how it starts. He's not wrong. He's really not wrong. That's how we're gonna get away with this game. Ideally, I'm gonna try to trade into double dev. Yup. I don't mind feeding red. Red had an incredible early game. Oh, we probably get robbed here. Damn it, that sucks. We had perfect double dev in hand. Oh no, okay. But anyway, so this is how we win this game. We have to get a city on here for 7. We get army for 8-9, and then we get our 10th point either from a victory point or a road settle on the brick port. So that's how I'm already envisioning this mid-game stage. And again, Orange is saying this is how it starts, but he's very close. So he needs a settlement, a road, and then another point. So for example, if he just pulled a VP, it's like a really challenging game for us. So our play here is always double pop. So we already pulled a VP. So we already know how we're closing the game. It's going to be 2 knights and a city. We don't have to waste resources. We're waiting on effectively a 9 plus a 5. We just keep plowing and hitting orange repeatedly, getting the dev cards that we need. And if we can keep red as an ally here, they're going to hit the 9 to be neutral, of course, which, again, this stealth play that we're making, which is kind of like fake last place, not even fake last place, fake second place, because it all depends on what dev card is pulled here. If orange pulls Monopoly or Year of Plenty, it might not even matter because they're really, really close. They just need, again, a settlement, a road, and another point from somewhere. So, and it honestly looks like that might just be a VP. Of course, they pull 1 dev and get 1 VP and drop the road. And I think that cooks us. Because it's not a knight, because they didn't move it off the 9. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Oh. Can anyone challenge road? He has non-knight in hand. I mean, I have to buy a dev. I'm just calculating. Hey, don't give up, brother. We pull mono. I have wood. I'm gonna pass and let them play that out. Ah, black is dead in the water. Can't wait. Okay, there's a chance that we don't need to feed him here. I'm just trying to calculate worst case scenario because it could be a VP or a year of plenty. Yeah, they're not gonna. I mean, there's no brick. I understand it. I'm just kind of like shooting shit. He did have a knight. Why didn't he move it off 9? I don't understand that. So he still drops a road for 9 points and then pops or cities for 10. Whew, I really don't understand that play, but okay. Ideally here what happens is we roll a 10, 11, or 6 on our turn and we mono the wheat. And even though it's not like that great of a monopoly, it gives us the 2 knights. Nope, 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 nope. He has open settle for... Oh, come on, man. Incredibly lucky. That is incredibly lucky. Oh. GG. I'm sorry, I have to complain because I already have 2 VPs down, and the odds of him pulling a VP there are Bro, that was the last VP in the deck. That was tremendously lucky. But anyway, yeah, well played to Orange. Damn, that sucks. Because, yeah, again, we basically roll into any number here. And I think they're, like, any wheat roll, we mono into wheat, and we get double dev. We get triple dev. If not triple dev, we get double dev city. And then we effectively just play knight, 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 and then win from there. Yeah, the fact that he pulled 1 VP out of the deck when there was how many cards left? Yeah, his pulling odds. So there was 8 knights, 10, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. His odds of pulling that there were 1 out of 15 or 1 out of 14. So that's just the way the game goes sometimes. But again, I'm not only posting games that I win. I want to post games that I find entertaining, that I think you guys would like. So again, let me know what you think. I think we played this game pretty decently. I don't think there's too much I would change. Maybe hit orange a little bit more. I just recognized that red was an early game threat. But yeah, I mean, no, we're not feeding that. All right, guys, as always, take care. Have a great day. God bless.